Hey everybody, it's Irene with BrainStormAcres. And this afternoon, I have got some remedial repair to do here. We've had a really crazy busy week, and we've also had some all over the place weather. Today we're about 85 degrees, but it wasn't that long ago that we were about 28. So a few things that should have been potted up or moved outside or whatever just didn't go because we were concerned about things freezing. So today what I'm going to do is I'm going to go through these trays and the tray from the great room, and I'm going to pick and choose and pot a few things up. Some of the things are really not in bad shape, but it's definitely time for them to be potted up. Other things, they got way too leggy. So let me get the tray from the great room. I had it stashed down here in the shade. And I'm going to talk about a couple of these things here. Now, unfortunately, I got some good germination on some things and lousy on others. My lavender mist did well, my poppies did well. So far, the daylilies have not come up. That's an experiment. That was an iffy situation. Cardinal flowers have done well, and they are big. They're climbers, so this is not a shocking affair for them. The basil's doing okay. The peppers have not come up at all. I am not thrilled with that. The tiara cabbage came up and is way too leggy. From experience, I know I can plant my tiara cabbage a bit deeper when it gets a little older, and it'll probably be okay. But I'm going to get these cardinal flowers out of here and the tiara cabbage, and some of this other stuff is going to stay in here, but it's going to be out here where it's going to get better sun. What I should have done was brought a light into the great room to make it brighter in there, and I just somehow didn't get to it. It's just been one of those weeks, and that happens to everybody sometimes. So first, let me get the cardinal flowers out, and then we'll talk about a few of these other things. Or I could actually just talk about a few of the other things here now. A bunch of these things I hope to be able to plant straight outside, but there are a couple of things that are simply getting too large. So I'm going to be potting them up too. I've already potted up my Roselle hibiscus because it was getting humongous, and it's loving it. It's already getting to be really pretty. I don't know if you can see that it's already got some reds and stuff on the stem. Really looking forward to these. Another big experiment. Our weather is currently forecast to be fairly mild, like nothing lower than 42 for the next 10 or 12 days. We'll see. If I have to, I can grab some of these guys and take them inside, or cover them up in here, and they should be fine. Now I need to look at these trays here and see what I'm going to do. That tray that I just cleared out of, this thing that I took some of the big stuff out of, was too wet. I try not to have it that wet when I transplant because it's harder to keep the soil together and things like that. I am going to take a look at these guys and see who needs to come out of here for sure. These guys for sure need to come out of here. They will, if the weather's going to get incredibly cold, need to go back under some sort of cover because they are tender. The Roselle hibiscus are in the cotton mallow family, so they are sensitive the way a tomato would be. Let's take a look at these guys. I have some lupins in here that are quite large. Let's see if the plugs will come out. I always sort of hold my breath when I pull plugs. Okay, it's a really nice plug. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to plant these in here. For those of you who have followed us for a while, you'll notice that these are just solo cups. I'm not a huge fan of things like plastic drink cups and stuff, and I actually have known of people who collected plastic drink cups and ran them through the dishwasher and used them so that they didn't have to buy any. These were left over from an event that we helped manage years and years ago. They've been sitting around because we don't use plastic drink cups very often. So I decided, since I did not have enough flower pots, I would simply take an ice pick, knock 3 holes in the bottom, and call it a flower pot. And it works just fine. One of the things I do like about this is that it is such a deep pot that it gives you someplace really nice to put your plants. I am pulling out, carefully, lupins. Just also raise the soil up here a little bit because this is a little, the roots were coming out the bottom of the seeding thing here. So there we go. So I am potting these guys up because they are just really too big for this tray anymore. Some of this stuff just didn't come up the way I thought it would. And the net result of that is some things are too far ahead of other things. Now, I am keeping records so that I know that the next time around that I do this, I'll know better which plants to plant together. Again, I'm lifting this up so that I'm not squishing the roots that go through the bottom. I'm laying it kind of on the side here, and then I'm going to put the soil down because I really want those roots to be as nice and stretched out as they can be so that they can just keep going down when it's time. And I don't want them to start instantly running in a circle because the plants are very healthy right now and I'd like to keep them that way. Really cool. I love these plants. I love them. Really hoping that I can get them well established in the yard. It's part of our perennials project. I am very impressed with the root structure on these. Haas Tools says that these type of trays will train the roots down, and they really do seem to do a good job. Some of them, like I say, some of the cells here were just a little too wet. It's actually better if they're a little drier. It helps the soil clump together better. I saw an article the other day that was talking about the effects of the drought in our area and the fact that there's about 50 to 100,000 acres between Paulden, Arizona and Astor Fork, Arizona that got virtually no rain last year, and in some areas as much as 50% of the trees are now dead, and in other areas it's maybe a quarter. The trees in general that have survived are the more established trees, so the ones that already have deeper tap roots. And having a really good root system here that just absolutely dives deep is a critical thing. So we have one lupin that's buried under there. Poor thing. Okay, I'm going to leave him because he's a little stunted from being squished. These are dianthus. They could also go out, but I'm going to try and get most of these direct planted. So we're going to leave them for now. We have dianthus and bachelor buttons that are already coming up, self-seeded. So my theory is if they can do it self-seeded, they can do it this way. Now, Cosmos is a little bit more fragile, so I'm going to pop those up, get them into trays here to keep them safe. All right, let's see what the Cosmos have to say for themselves. This is an errant plant here. This is Celosia chief, and he's in with the cosmos aisle. Okay, kids, come on out. There we go. Come on out. Yeah, it's been so hot today, I was afraid to let this dry out too much. And it would have been easier if it hadn't been quite as wet. Love me some cosmos, so I'm very thrilled that they came up. Didn't get quite as many as I hoped this year, but still did pretty well. I'm hoping I don't have to hold these for too long. I'd love to hold them for about a week, week and a half, maybe 2. The nice thing is that these are very distinctive plants, so I don't have to worry about, and they're a mix, so it doesn't matter. It's not dealing with different colors or anything else like that. But these plants will grow quite tall, sometimes as much as 3 or 4 feet tall. And I understand that under good growing conditions, they can grow taller than that. We rarely have what I'd call superb growing conditions here. Isn't that ridiculous? But they're certainly happy here, in the greenhouse at least. And in case you're wondering, yes, I am sweating. It's hot in here. That thermometer over there says 98 degrees, and I have the fan over here turned off, because even with the voice recorder, it sounds like I'm standing in a tornado when I have that thing on full bore. This is actually late afternoon. I waited as late as I felt I could today to get this done. I had 4 hours of metal symposium to attend today, which I adored, but it meant things were a bit clogged up. I'm supposed to actually attend a meet and greet in about 5 minutes. But we'll see if I can get to that. I'm really soaking these things. I mean, like filling them with water, because that way it gets all the bubbles out of the soil here, which is important. And I'm making sure they don't sink down too, because like I say, I'm kind of drowning this thing on purpose. But the soil is brand new. It's right out of a bag, but it's a bit dry, and it's going to absorb a lot of this water. And what I'll actually be doing is, it's too early to shut the greenhouse down for about another 2 or 3 hours. So I will be coming back at least once more, if not twice, to check on everybody, double check the temperatures, etc., etc. And one of these guys are a bit wilty, but chances are very good that by tomorrow morning they will be perfectly fine. All right, and this guy I think is too little to yank. Yeah, he's too little to yank, so I'm going to dig him out. He still has a pretty significant root structure, but he was a runt. Sometimes the runts just don't make it, but sometimes they do. Sometimes they're just never as tall, but a lot of times they bloom just as nicely, so we're going to give him a shot. Tuck him in here with some nice potting soil. Now, if you've been following us, you know that we started these seeds using seed starting soil, which is a finer, more clean soil. This is just regular old potting soil from a big box store. Okay, that's it for tonight. I am covered with dirt. Trouble with sweating is anytime you get dirt on yourself, it sticks. Okay, I am going to see what happens tomorrow. We had plans to get a bunch of irrigation done this afternoon. I know that Henry has part of it done. I don't mind turning things on and off manually at this point, if I need to. But I can also use a hose. So tomorrow, the goal is to get a couple of the beds stabilized completely. These guys here that look so fluffy are Sweet Williams, which is a type of dianthus. These grow tall. They grow about that tall. So I obviously wouldn't put them along the edge of a bed. I'd put them back somewhere. So I may put some of these in the iris bed, and I want to start shifting some of the other dianthus that I have. I may hold those for a while, but I want to start shifting some of the bachelor buttons and stuff like that into some of the stable beds. So yeah, lots going on. Way too much, actually. I'm going to water those, and then I'm heading back in. I'm going to turn the fans back on. But thought you might enjoy seeing some of the chaos that's going on around here. We still have seeds coming up even in here. There's a random hollyhock that's coming up right here, and one that just came up the other day here. All the other buddies, we had very poor germination on these hollyhocks. Very poor. I thought for a long time I was only going to have 2, then I got 3, then I got 4, now I got another one over here that looks like it might make. I don't know what happened with them, whether they just had poor germination rate or what. I didn't do anything wrong. So we'll see. Some of these things have to wait a while longer. It's too unreliable at this point. I don't want to be trying to cover up massive sections of the garden. I may pot up some of the marigolds and some of the other stuff tomorrow. We'll see if I can get some of this out. Then I'll have room to be able to put more of these trays here, which means I can cover them if I need to. I can easily cover this whole thing with plastic. I can also put a heater underneath it if I need to. But in general, the greenhouse stays a few degrees warmer than the outside does. And it keeps the frost off, which is a big part of the deal. So I hope you found this interesting. Be sure to like, subscribe, hit that notification bell, because every single one of these plants, plus more, because I need to start a whole stack tomorrow, because I'm running about a week behind at least. It's almost time to start the last minute, what I call the last minute veggies, like squash and cucumbers and stuff like that. They'll be up and ready to go really quickly. They're normally up in 3 or 4 days, so yeah. But there's a few things that haven't come up. My husk cherries haven't come up, and I'm not happy with that. So I may change. I haven't think a new pack of those. I may get the new pack out and try growing some from that, because we really want husk cherries. So I'm going to get something to drink. I'm going to water those guys. I'm going to put the fans on, and I'm going to call it a day, because it's almost time for me to make a pizza. So until next time, bye.